So, Kevin Green.
Kevin Green, yes, sir.
I have known you a long time, and I never knew you crewed. I mean, there's a lot of people out there at that balloon race, at the Great Texas Balloon Race, and so I'm not really surprised that our paths didn't really cross.
Right.
Because there's 80 pilots out there, so there's 80 crews out there, and you were one of them for a long time. How did you get started with that?
So I guess I got started years ago I went to the first Balloon Glow in Longview. Just kind of fell in love with ballooning. To me, it's like light bulbs sitting on the ground glowing. And to me, it was just cool. And then my parents back in we're talking about the 70s, they started a lawn mowing service. And we mowed one of the neighborhoods, was over off of Gilmer Road. And Dr. Bussey lived in that neighborhood. So when we would mow on Thursday and Fridays in that neighborhood. So on Thursday evening, I guess I just found out, hey, that's, this balloon trailer sitting there. And Dr. Bussey would load up on Thursdays to go to events on Friday and Saturdays. And so I would go over there and kind of bug him, talk to him. If there was something I could carry to his trailer, I'd carry it, and I did that for years while we were mowing yards and then watching the races over the years. And I became a photojournalist, I guess, back in 95 full time, and I'd already been covering the races as a part-time journalist back from 90. And so I went, and when you go up in a balloon, the pilot's always like, well, come back out and help us. So a few of them I did. And then there was one time when one of the former GTBR competitors, David Hoover, we just kind of hit it off. And so from then on, I was his media ride that year. And he's like, come on out. And we hit it off, and I crewed that year, and then I crewed the next year and just kind of kept crewing. And it's always been my bucket list to be a pilot, have my own balloon, and that kind of thing. And we're going all the way back to, the middle of 2000s, 2008, 2010. And I watched it my whole life from when I was small using a Kodak disc camera, if anybody knows what a disc camera is, or Kodak 126, a little cartridge film, to the days of photographing it for the newspaper, sending it out on AP to the world, for thousands to see in digital. And so it's just changed over the years, but ballooning's still ballooning. It's still the awe when you see one up. It's still cool with the colors. The kids love it. And to me, I'm like a little kid. I'm 53 now. And so to me, it's still, even when I inflate my own balloon, and I'm working now with an instructor working on my license, and even now when I inflate my own, when it gets up, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And so,
especially with it being yours.
Yeah, exactly. And so my instructor, I take lessons over from Pat Harwell over in Shreveport, and he's kind of retiring, but he took me on as a student. And so the biggest thing that he's got, he stops me, because I'll be flying and it'll be going good and the winds won't be too crazy, and he'll be like, I'll be like, oh, that'd be a good picture. That'd be a good picture. And so it's still, to me, when you go fly over a body of water and you look down and you see the colors and the balloon in the water, it's like, that's just cool.
Yeah, that's always one of my favorite shots to get when I was riding in balloons. I would wait for the pond.
That's right.
And hey, I remember one pond I flew over was the shape of Texas.
I know
the pond.
I know that
right?
pond.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
That pond.
Yes,
It's up at the airport somewhere. And as it flew over, I got a shot of the balloon reflected in it, just right in the Longview, Gregg County area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I made a still out of that.
That's awesome. That's something to hold on to there.
But I digress. This is about you. So yeah, I guess this year though you're not crewing.
I'm not crewing. I haven't. Last year I crewed, and kind of like you kind of crew and then you main crew. And last year I was chosen. I think the year before last I crewed a little bit, but this year I just hadn't. I got a lot kind of going on, and I just didn't volunteer. But it's a great race. It's great for the community. You're looking at 50 years next year. The amount of people that come to Longview for this is just kind of overwhelming. And you go out there and you just kind of walk around and see the kids. And to me, it's about ballooning. It's about, bringing people together. So it's fun to go to, even if you're not crewing, but it's still fun. That crewing's, it's almost like, I guess when I've ridden with the police, it's kind of like being in the car in a police pursuit. that's kind of like what it is chasing when you're chasing and you're being crew, because you're like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? All right, where do we gotta go now? Kind of the same. You get that same adrenaline rush.
Yeah. And when there's 50 balloons in the air, it's like, uh-oh, which one? I lost them.
Exactly. Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
So yeah, I guess crewing, you got to know the roads a little bit to try to stay with them.
Exactly, and that was one of the things that when I did do media flights with people, they were like, "Oh, he's been here his whole life. He's born and raised here." So I was kind of like, "Oh, we want him. Let's go. We want you to come out in the morning because you just know this stuff. And after you've gone up, when you go up with a pilot, you know the roads." And so that was always, the pilots were like, "Oh yeah, we want you to go up again with us," because it helped them to know landmarks and that kind of thing. And now it's all GPS and mapping and computers and but when I started flying media flights, it wasn't like that. And then crewing, because when you're in a chase crew vehicle, if there's a way that you can get around town, and Jamie, as a photojournalist, we could get around town, and we could get around town quick, and we knew all the ways. So they kind of liked that when you were on a crew, because
it's like no dead end roads. You're not going to take the dead
exactly
end road.
Exactly. And see, we're the only ones that probably knows where all the dead end roads are.
Yeah.
They don't all have signs.
Now, do you find that the pilots are a little possessive about their crew, especially after been with them a couple of years?
Yes, for sure. Especially if they're good crew. People, they don't like them to go and venture to somebody else. And there'll be pilots that'll come this year that's had crew for years from East Texas. And you build a rapport and a friendship. And honestly, it's lifelong friendships, because that pilot, David Hoover from Little Rock, Arkansas, when I first went to a media flight with him, I've gone to other events and crewed for him outside of Texas. Went to Arkansas a couple of times and crewed for him. Louisiana, just different things, because you build a rapport and a friendship, and it's almost like a family. And he is the one that I actually bought my balloon from. So by crewing and getting to know these people and becoming friends, you actually have family for the rest of your life that are there for you when you need them.
Yeah, they are a unique breed.
They
pilots. Are. Yeah. And so what happened with him?
David Hoover. So David, he and his wife, they're still in Little Rock. She went through a little bit of a spell, and she's rebuilding and coming back, and he's back to flying and doing different things. He's been working on a house, so he hasn't been going to as many rallies. I think he did his first one in several years the other day, and he was excited. And of course, the other day when myself and another fellow crew member of his from the GTBR, we were flying together. And so I took a picture and sent it to him, and he just sends a heart emoji. He's like, "Man, that makes my heart happy." And that's the way a lot of these pilots that you talk to them, that's how close they are with their crew members. They build a bond that, you're relying on that person to know where we're going, where's the best place to eat, where are the must-to vacation type stops that I've got to go to. And so it's a real close-knit family.
Yeah, and I guess when these pilots come in, they bring family with them. They maybe bring some crew with them, but I guess a lot of times the family is the crew.
Right, exactly. And sometimes you've got two family members, like your wife will be the crew chief or your husband will be the crew chief, so they'll drive, but then you've got kids. And so you'll see people come in with 3 to 5 kids, because if you're coming from 4 states over, this is like a vacation coming to Texas. And so they'll bring the kids, and during the day, of course, they're going out doing things and having fun and swimming and going to all the vacation spots. So you really, not only do you get to meet the pilots, you meet their closest family, because generally they have at least one with them. Very rare, a lot of times you'll see people, they travel together. But you'll meet family, generations of families at these events. So it's really, when you go there and kind of see the bond, you don't realize it until you go and you actually crew and you get close enough to some of these people that the bond is incredible. It's just like any other hobby. Even though, yes, it's a sport, and yes, some of them it's a profession, it's still a bond that they have, and it's still the excitement that you see in their faces, and they love it. You do things you love.
Yeah, and it occurs to me, good luck finding a hotel room in Longview balloon race weekend.
Oh, I'm sure
Because
they're
all these people need to stay somewhere.
exactly. You got all these people coming into town, and you know, you and I was born and raised in Longview. You got there pretty quick. You know, we think all these hotels, but when you come to something like this, and you've got all of these people coming to stay, and then you've got outer towners coming in that follow the balloons. So yeah, it's going to be. You may have to go to Kilgore to get you a hotel this weekend.
And maybe Tyler.
Well, Tyler too. You know, all of East Texas, I do believe, benefits from the Great Texas Balloon Race, and has for many years.
Yeah, I think so too. So do you have aspirations of being in the race at some point?
Well, you know, I was asked that question the other day, and you know, I was told one time there's floaters and there's flyers, and I want to be a flyer. I want to compete. I want to go and do it. I just, whether or not I'll have that many hours, you know, I think there's some hour requirements and that kind of thing. But I would like to be, you know, going to the very first glow, being at that time it was the back of the Sears parking lot. Now it's PNC Bank. The feeling, man, it was just cool. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And so, you know, it's that event has always been special. This year it's got the Mass Ascension. And a lot of people that haven't been here their whole lives, they're like, Mass Ascension, what's that? Well, I remember the Mass Ascensions back in the 90s from the airport on a Saturday evening, you know, and I went up as a photographer and I photographed it from a Cessna. And so it's one of the coolest things you'll see is when you'll see that many balloons take off at one time.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I've been to Albuquerque, and this will be the closest thing that a lot of people will ever get to if they don't go to Albuquerque. So it's pretty impressive.
So I guess you would recommend getting to know a pilot and maybe doing a little crewing.
I would highly recommend, if you're even the least bit interested in ballooning, I would highly recommend getting to become a crew. I mean, it's hot, you sweat, there's lots of water that's drank. It's not easy pulling down a balloon. You know, when everybody says, oh, they crashed. No, they didn't. That's just the way they land. It's not, a lot of people mistake it, and it's not. Once they set down on the ground, you still got to pull that balloon over, deflate it, pack it up, and then get it back in the truck or trailer or on the lift. And so there's a lot of work to it, but it's very rewarding because the next time that you go, you're like, hey, I packed this up the last time. So it's very rewarding. It's fun.
And of course, you got to deal with chiggers. So you should wear boots, I guess.
Well, I guess you could wear boots, wear jeans and long socks is highly recommended. After you do it for a long time, you'll just wear like a waterproof shoe with some ankle socks and shorts, and unfortunately, you just get them. You know, it's East Texas in the summertime. It's just part of it.
All right. Anything you'd like to add?
I hope everybody goes out, enjoys the race, go chase one, go take some pictures, post them, you know, go see it. It's like something, if you've never seen it, it's like nothing you'll ever compare it to.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevin.